There we go. All right, all right, all right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. I wanted to do something special for Black History Month. So it's a perfect way to end Black History Month. For those who don't know who I am, my name is Vonne Reeves, president and founder of the Vonne Group. We're a hotel consulting and investment firm. And we have a very special guest. We have Mrs. Erin Toole Williams. She is the great granddaughter of J.B. Stradford, who founded the Stradford Hotel in the early 1900s, correct? I don't know the exact
Correct.
date, but that's why we have you here. You know better than I do. And as you know, my mission is to create more hotel owners, increase the percentage of Black hotel owners and investors. And so far to date, created several, probably close to 60 hotel investors, some hotel owners. And people think this is new, but owning hotels is not new, right? This has been going on before we were born. And so I'm glad that you and I have been able to connect. And that way you can share your great grandfather's legacy and story. Because the Stradford Hotel, I think, was one of the first luxury hotels that was owned by a Black person. And I don't want to steal your thunder. You can tell your story better than anybody. So if you could just introduce yourself, let everybody know who you are.
Okay, great. And thank you so much for this invitation. It means so much. Again, I'm Erin Toole Williams, and I am the great-great-granddaughter, or a great-great-granddaughter of J.B. Stradford, who was a very successful businessman in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He was actually one of the wealthiest men in Tulsa. And by that, I do not mean Black men, I mean men. And hopefully most of you know the story about the Tulsa massacre of 1921. And he had several businesses. The Stradford Hotel was one of them. And so I created this platform, the Stradford Hotel, on social media, on Instagram and Facebook, because I wanted to celebrate and share his legacy, which has gotten lost along with so many of the other businesses and events, that took place in the Greenwood community and on Black Wall Street as a result of the massacre.
I'm actually going to put the links to the links in the follow-up, so that way people can follow you all and follow your legacy, right? Because I know probably I know this year is the 100th anniversary, correct? No, last year was the 100th anniversary. So it was even brought to my attention. I even became more fascinated with it because I didn't know. I knew about the Tulsa massacre, but I didn't know about the Stradford Hotel, right? And I'm a history buff, history geek, and even more of a hotel history geek. So when I saw, and this conversation is going to be focused mostly on hotels. We're not going to talk about, the massacre. I really wanted this conversation to be about the hotel. And when I was watching a lot of the documentaries, the Stradford Hotel constantly kept coming up, right? It was just a staple in the community. A lot of legends and, African-American icons, they came to stay at that hotel. And before the hotel was destroyed, it was even said this probably could have been the next, Marriott brand or the next Hilton brand, because it was just such a well done, luxurious hotel. I don't know if you can share anything, any stories that may have been passed down about the hotel, and possibly can you share, what gave your great grandfather the idea of starting a hotel?
I can. He was very well off, and especially for a Black man at that time, and he recognized that. And so he wanted to make sure that his dollars went directly back into the Black community. I don't know if a lot of people probably don't know this, but the Stradford Hotel was not necessarily his first hotel. He owned, it's the first grand one, obviously, but I mean, he owned rooming houses. I can't remember where the other hotel was. He owned barbershops. He owned so many different things, and not necessarily in Tulsa, but along the way. He owned a lot of these other businesses. And so once he got to Tulsa and, saw what was going on, he really felt strongly about the Black community being able to persevere in a racist country if we pooled our resources and worked together as a community. And Black Wall Street is basically a result of that, of him and all of those other people, all of those other entrepreneurs and business people, men and women, who worked so hard to make their dreams come true and work towards their passions. So again, he knew that he wanted to create this huge, fabulous, magnificent hotel. And unfortunately, as with most things related to the massacre, we lost so much. So, we don't even have an interior shot of the hotel, which is just something I wish for often. I just keep saying, hopefully, there's going to be a photograph that makes its way to someone, and then they, get it to the family, or, maybe it'll just end up in the family's hands. So we're basically getting all of this information from the memoirs that he left. And that is another area where my family specifically is extremely fortunate. JB wrote memoirs, and he left memoirs, which, are in my family's possession. And that's why we can paint the picture in our minds and in our heads, of the fabulous chandeliers and, the pool hall and the banquet hall and the gift shop, and there's a drugstore that actually wasn't owned by him, but it was on the street level of the hotel. And so we actually know for a fact that it was grand. That's not something that we've just made up. That is, and then you do see other reports from other people who are descendants, and information was passed on about how it was such a great place for us to go for so many different occasions.
Now, you mentioned about the memoir. I love that. I actually need to do a better job of documenting the process, right? So thank you for reminding me, because that's so important, because fortunately your great-great-grandfather, he documented the process, so that way, his legacy lived on, and you all, at least you can tell some of the stories that, that may have happened. Now, in his memoirs, did he talk a lot about the hotel in his memoirs? Like, did he document the process of?
He talked about pretty much everything. It's about time for me to read them again. I mean, while the part about the hotel, me being a hospitality professional, for quite a while now, that's the part that, I'm really glued to and love to see. But it's also hard to read, it's bittersweet, as you can imagine. And I know we're not really going to dive too much into that part of the massacre, but he pretty much outlined everything. I mean, he used the best fabrics and materials that he possibly could to build the hotel. I mean, he was just, he had this idea in mind, and he wasn't going to stop until he did it. And that's exactly what he did on June 1st, 1918, until the massacre, when it was burned to the ground.
Oh, wow. So it was open for about 3 years.
Right. So it's,
oh,
we
wow,
won't go down that.
That's amazing. So let's wait a minute. So we're going to pause. We're going to come back to your great-great-grandfather, but let's talk about you for a little bit, because his legacy lives on in you because he started off as a hotelier and he passed it along to you. So can you talk a little bit about yourself being in the hospitality industry?
Sure, I can. So my very first job out of college was working at a huge hotel property here in Chicago. And I didn't necessarily know that I was going to go that route. Like I didn't apply for that job because I was thinking, oh, my great great grandfather, did this. But obviously it's in my blood. And the minute that I started working in the industry, I, felt extremely passionate about it and, was a sponge and just wanted to learn more. And then the other part of it is because I was assisting with the opening of a hotel, in that
That's
situation, you get to learn all facets of it. And so, things that you might not necessarily think you want to do normally could be something that, you might roll your sleeves up and say, hey, I'll do this. If you ever need anybody who, doesn't show up to work or whatever, I'll help with that. And so that was a great place to start for me. And I was promoted pretty fast and into a portion of the hotel to the executive level, where I, along with my coworkers, we were basically running a hotel within a hotel. So that was really great. And then I didn't stay. I always seem to have a customer service connection to all the work that I've done, but I didn't necessarily stay working in a hotel, but I did come back to it. So more recently, I've worked as a concierge consultant, and I was doing that up until COVID, which you already know, dismantled so many things. So I'm easing back into the concierge consulting right now, while simultaneously, of course, pushing along this platform, the Stradford Hotel, and creating awareness and educating people about my great great grandfather and sharing his legacy.
It looks like you're in the hotel now.
I am. Thanks for saying that. I am at the Gray, which is a Kempton hotel. It's in Chicago. Beautiful, beautiful property. And it's located in the financial district. It was actually a bank that was renovated. I wish I could show you the whole place. I'll flip it. Oh, I don't know if I can do that right now. Okay. Anyway, it's absolutely gorgeous. If you're in Chicago, you have to stop by. I currently have a collaboration with the Gray, and we have created a concierge cocktail in honor of my great great grandfather. And so there are two cocktails. One is the JB and the other is the Stradford Hotel. I do not.
I'm surprised you're not doing a little.
I know. It's not open. It's not open yet. I'm the only one in here. But I will be sure if anyone wants to follow my page and go through, you'll definitely I'll put the links
and everything. Yep.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, so Kempton is actually part of IHG brand, which stands for Intercontinental Hotel Group. And what she just mentioned, how it was a bank. So basically what the Kempton, I don't know who owns it, but basically they did a adaptive reuse. And basically what that means, they converted a bank, or they converted a historical building, and they converted it into a hotel. So a lot of times, and look, this is me with the consulting and the teaching. A lot of times people don't realize, they think, they either have to buy an existing hotel or they have to develop a hotel from the ground up. And if there's an abandoned, beautiful building, because the building looks beautiful, right? I could just tell from the looks at it. And by you said from a bank, I know usually banks, they turn into really beautiful hotels. And basically what they did, it was an existing structure, probably had some strong bones. They just kind of added and did some cool creative things around it. I'm sure the vault, they probably did something fancy with the vault. People usually do that. They turn vaults into wine cellars or something. But anyway, So for those who are looking, I know I have some folks who are looking to develop a hotel or buy a hotel. You know, you can, it now can be expensive. But that's something that you can think about along the way if you want to get into the hotel development business, as far as if you see an existing structure and you can actually convert it, you know, into a hotel.
That's wonderful. I know who to go to when I'm ready to build a hotel.
Oh, you already know. You already know.
I wanted to just say a couple more things about the concierge cocktail.
Talk about it. Absolutely.
The concierge cocktail, the creator of the concierge cocktail is Bobby Gonzalez, and he's the director of concierge services here at the Gray. And Bobby and I have been concierge colleagues, and I approached him, you know, about the idea of, you know, putting JB on the bottle and telling his story. And what led me to even approach him is because the concierge cocktail concept is community-based. And so I was like, wow, this would be perfect. And because Bobby is so in tune and completely gets it, he had already been following my story and everything. So it wasn't even a hard sell. We obviously needed to, you know, send it through the proper channels, you know, to the director of sales and marketing, the general manager, et cetera. And then it all just, you know, came together. And there were a couple of surprises along the way as we were, before we launched it. And I was able to select a recipient, and I chose the John R. Lewis Institute for Social Justice. So a portion of the proceeds goes to the John R. Lewis Institute for Social Justice, and it's at Fisk University, which is my alma mater. Also my parents' alma mater. And for those who don't know, Fisk is a historically Black university in Nashville, Tennessee. And I also got to choose the color of the bottle cap. So of course I chose blue and gold for Fisk. Oh, so beautiful. It's been a lot of fun, creating a lot of awareness through that. And then they sell it at it's only being sold at the front desk of the Gray here in this hotel.
So I'm just curious, why the Gray Hotel? Is that one of your favorite hotels, or?
Well, it's definitely one of my favorite hotels now, but it's always been absolutely beautiful. And then the people who work here, I mean, they all get it. They've been such a joy to work with. But basically the connection came through my professional relationship with Bobby Gonzalez, who's the creator of the concierge cocktails.
Nice. I love it. This is amazing. I love how you're continuing the legacy. Now, you mentioned the platform that you're creating. Can you talk a little bit more about that, the platform that you're creating to honor your great-great-grandfather?
Yes. So basically, when I say that, I mean the social media platform. So I have a presence on Instagram and Facebook, and the name is the Stradford Hotel. And I just, you know, as we all did during the pandemic, we had a lot of time to think about a lot of things. And I always wanted to do something to honor JB. And so I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and just create these pages. Fortunately, the handles that I wanted were there. And I just, you know, post things as I feel the need. And there will probably be a lot more posts in the future. Right now, I'm still sorting through some things. But as a result of creating the platform, things like this have happened, you know, the concierge cocktail. And I'm not the only person in my family. There are other descendants of JB who, you know, have, you know, are doing other things. One of the other wonderful events that has taken place is that JB's law school, which is Indiana University McKinney School of Law, honored him last year, and you know, for being this successful businessman in Tulsa, and honored him as an alum. And they raised a portrait in the School of Law in his honor.
Oh, that's beautiful. So he was a lawyer.
He went to Oberlin for undergrad, and then he went to IU for law school. Yes.
Oh,
he was an attorney. Yes.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
So he wore a lot of different hats. And so, that's why I was saying, gosh, there's so much that I can talk about. And I will be doing a lot more of that in the future. I just really wanted to get it off the ground as, when I did. So it's been a year ago now. And at the time, of course, as we were approaching the centennial, Black Wall Street was really, and the Tulsa Massacre in 1921 were both really, really buzzing. And I mean, of course, unfortunately, there's still people who are waking up today and will continue to wake up not knowing anything about the massacre or Black Wall Street, because it was conveniently buried. But I knew that I wanted to do something in the centennial year. And I'm really happy that I did. And I appreciate those who are following me, and hopefully there'll be more to come.
You're live on Facebook as well, and we have some comments. I just want to share them with you. It's just saying Carmelita, it's my girl. She's saying such an awesome historical overview. She's loving this. So sad to hear about not having the documented visual. She said it's so important for us to remember to document our journeys. And I'm going to say this, which I'm sure you'll appreciate. She said she's going to share your Instagram with, I guess, the Vonne Travel, the creator of Black Wall Street, the board game. She said your great-great-grandfather's hotel is mentioned in that game.
Oh, awesome. I was not familiar with, I didn't know. Thank you. And thank you for the lovely comments. I really appreciate it. And honestly, that's really the most that I can ask for people to do, is to share the story.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really that simple. And that's why I kind of didn't put too much on it. I just really would like for people to share the story, because we haven't known it, just as we haven't known so many other stories.
Right.
Some will never know, unfortunately, but hopefully this will encourage more to come to the surface.
Yeah. And you have some merchandise as well. You have some, and I'm going to share the link with everyone in a follow-up.
Okay, great.
You have some merchandise that you're selling, shirts, which
I do.
I need to order one. You reminded me today. I was like, I want a shirt.
Yes, I do. And there'll be more of that to come. Originally, I really wanted to turn into a hospitality line. And so as I start to do that, you'll have a better understanding of what I'm referring to. But it will be, not that it's not important, but it will become more than t-shirts and hoodies.
Oh yeah, it's growing.
My vision is, I can't even tell you how large it is.
Oh, well, that's beautiful. And I know your great-great-grandfather is proud that you're continuing the legacy, and just having this conversation with you is just a reminder that, Black folks own hotels for a while. Like, this is nothing new. And it surprises me that people are like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that Black people can own hotels. And you're living proof, right? That your great-great-grandfather, was one of the first to own hotels, even luxury hotels. He set that precedent that he wanted to do boutique luxury hotels where people of our race during that time could experience first class treatment, right?
Absolutely.
Because during that time, Black people weren't allowed in hotels, that weren't
correct.
Black owned. And so for him to open those doors and for Black people to experience that type of treatment, I'm so appreciative, especially being a hotel owner, hotel geek myself, historical geek. I just always love hearing, more about your great grandfather's legacy. I'm so grateful that you came on and to talk about your great grandfather's legacy. And we love what you're doing. So for my folks who, if you go through Chicago or if you're visiting in Chicago, check out, what is it? The Gray Hotel.
The Gray. Yes. Definitely stop by and pick up one of the cocktails. I forgot to mention, one is bourbon based and one is gin based, and they are both absolutely delicious. And they let me be a part of the tasting team. So
fun.
that was fun.
I'm looking at your Instagram right now. So it's actually pictures of the drink on your Instagram. So for folks who want to see it, just check out her Instagram. It's the Stradford Hotel. Like I said, I'll put the links down. So she's given a lot of information about her great grandfather. So it's a cool page. So make sure you check it out. Follow her. Erin, how else can people stay in contact with you besides following you on the Stradford Hotel?
That's actually the best way right now. I mean, again, Facebook and Instagram on the Stradford Hotel. I'm on LinkedIn. I am going to be a little more vigilant on LinkedIn. It's not something that I use every day, but I'm
baby
going
steps,
to change
Erin,
that.
baby steps. We're gonna get you there. Baby steps.
So yeah, right now, I would say social media is the best way.
Social media.
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh, this has been great. I know we're talking to legacy here, Black hotel ownership legacy. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Erin, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk to us.
Thank you. And I just want to say, I hope that you realize how important the work that you're doing is.
Thank you.
And congratulations to you on your hotel ownership.
Oh,
congratulations on the countless awards that you've won. In my opinion, you're a pioneer yourself. And so
that means a lot coming from you.
Please continue to do what you're doing. I love your following. And it's just so obvious that you're doing it from your heart and that you're so passionate about it. And just keep up the phenomenal work. And again, I can't thank you enough for having me on.
Oh, thank you so much, Erin. Thank you. I really appreciate that, and I received that.
You're welcome.
But this comes from your great grandfather. He blasted the doors open, and so it's my job to. As much as he went through, I couldn't even imagine what he had to go through to get that hotel open.
I can't either.
I can't even. I can't even wrap my brain around it. Like today, in today's world, I can wrap my brain around. But back then, I wouldn't have been able to wrap my brain around it. But
I agree.
The fact that he did it and he persevered. So it is my duty. It is my job to continue his legacy. That what he went through is not in vain. So it is my honor to keep it going and to make sure that we have more JB Stradfords in the world.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much, Erin.
Thank you. I appreciate it once again. Bye. Take care.
And I even thank everybody for listening. Thank you all for taking out your lunch break to listening in. Hopefully y'all got some great information and tidbits, and make sure you stop by the Gray Hotel by Kempton in Chicago. So I'll be sure to do that the next time in Chicago. I'm going to have to stop by and get a drink. I may get the bourbon.
We will toast each other.
We'll toast each. I'm going to try the bourbon. I don't know about the gin.
You have to try both. You have to try both.
I try both because you said it, but I'm going to start off with the bourbon.
Okay. Perfect.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for being on today. Bye.